Did you know that the most subtle signs of dishonesty aren't always big lies or dramatic confessions? Sometimes it's in the little things, the vague answers, the awkward laughter, the half-truths. You might think you're just having a normal conversation, but these tiny evasions can actually be the red flags that someone is hiding something from you. If you want to build trust, understand the truth, and stop letting people get away with avoiding accountability, you need to start demanding clarity. In this video, we're going to break down why you deserve honest answers and how to stop accepting anything less than the truth. So, stick with me and let's dive into this together. Number 1. The danger of laughing off. Serious conversations. Picture this. You're with someone you care about, a friend, a partner, maybe even a co-worker, and you're sharing something important, something that's been weighing on your heart. But instead of engaging, they laugh. Not out of malice, but to lighten the moment, maybe to make it less awkward. At first, it might feel harmless, even endearing. After all, laughter can be a wonderful way to bond, right? But then it happens again, and again. Every time you try to bring up something serious, they deflect with a joke or a laugh. Suddenly, what once felt like a quirk starts to feel like a wall. That laughter, once comforting, now feels dismissive. It's as if your feelings, your concerns, your truths are being brushed aside, turned into a punchline for the sake of avoiding discomfort. Think back to your own experiences, those moments when you tried to open up to someone, only to have them laugh it off. Maybe it was about a relationship issue, a family matter, or something deeply personal. Remember that sinking feeling of not being heard? That moment when you realized the conversation wasn't going anywhere, no matter how much you tried to steer it back. It's not just about the laugh. It's about what that laugh represents. It's a no-entry sign on the road to real connection, and if we're honest with ourselves, it hurts. Because when someone dismisses serious topics with laughter, it sends a message, intentional or not. What you're saying doesn't matter enough to me to engage with it seriously. Here's where the curiosity kicks in. Why do people do this? Is it fear? Is it avoidance? Or is it that they simply don't know how to handle the weight of real conversations? Whatever the reason, it's worth asking yourself, if they can't take serious things seriously, how can you trust them with the things that truly matter? Number 2. Vagueness. The liar's best friend. Now let's switch gears. Have you ever been in a conversation where someone just wouldn't get to the point? You ask a simple question, expecting a clear answer, but instead you're met with a swirling cloud of words that don't actually say anything. It's like trying to catch smoke with your bare hands. Picture this. You're talking to someone, maybe a co-worker boasting about some big project, or a friend sharing a story that doesn't quite add up. You start to dig a little, asking for specifics. Suddenly they turn into a master of evasion. "Oh, it's still in the works," they say, or "I can't really talk about it yet, but it's going to be huge." And just like that, they've dodged your question entirely. Think back to a time when someone gave you a vague answer. Maybe it was a co-worker who couldn't back up their claims, or a partner who was suspiciously non-specific about their plans. How did it make you feel? Probably a mix of frustration and mistrust. Because deep down, we all know that vagueness is often a sign of something deeper, something they don't want you to see. Here's the curious part. Why do vague people get away with it so often? It's because most of us are too polite to push. We've been trained to accept non-answers, to let things slide for the sake of avoiding conflict. But here's the truth. Vagueness isn't just annoying, it's a tool. It's the liar's best friend, a shield they use to avoid accountability. And every time we let it slide, we're allowing that shield to stay up. So what's really going on when someone gets vague? What are they hiding? And more importantly, how do we confront it without falling into the trap of awkwardness or self-doubt? Number 3. Why specifics matter in building trust. Imagine you're building something important, a relationship, a partnership, maybe even a career. The foundation of that structure, trust. And trust isn't built on grand gestures or vague promises. It's built on the small, specific details that show someone is being honest with you. Let's say you're planning a trip with a friend. You ask them to book the hotel, and they say, "Don't worry, I've got it covered." But when you ask for the name of the hotel or the booking confirmation, they dodge the question. "Oh, it's a great place. You'll love it. Just wait and see." Suddenly, you're left wondering, did they really book it? Or are they just hoping I won't ask again? Now think about the relationships in your life. When someone is specific, when they tell you exactly what time they'll meet you, or admit when they don't know something, it feels reassuring, doesn't it? That clarity, that willingness to be straightforward, builds trust. But when someone dances around the truth, giving you half answers and vague assurances, it has the opposite effect. It plants a seed of doubt. Take a moment to reflect on the people in your life who are clear and direct. Chances are, those are the people you trust the most. Now think about the ones who are always vague, always leaving you guessing. How much faith can you really put in them? Here's where curiosity comes in. Why do specifics matter so much? It's because they're proof. Proof that someone is being honest, that they're willing to back up their words with facts. And when someone can't or won't provide specifics, it begs the question, what are they trying to hide? Trust is like a puzzle, and every detail is a piece. When someone refuses to give you those pieces, they're not just making it harder to complete the puzzle, they're telling you they don't want you to see the full picture. So, how do we learn to recognize these moments? And more importantly, how do we respond in a way that protects our own integrity? Number 4, the art of evasion, how people dodge. Accountability. Imagine this. You're in a meeting and a co-worker is sharing updates on a project. They're animated, confident, throwing around buzzwords that sound impressive. But when someone asks for specifics, timelines, names, results, they suddenly become vague. "Oh, we're in the early stages," they say, or "There's a lot of moving parts, but we're making progress." At first, you might not think much of it, but as time goes on, the pattern becomes impossible to ignore. Evasion is an art, and some people are master artists. They know how to paint a picture that looks convincing from a distance, but falls apart under closer inspection. It's frustrating, isn't it? Especially when you realize this isn't just about one project or one conversation. It's about a deeper unwillingness to be held accountable. Think back to a time when someone dodged your questions. Maybe it was a partner who avoided answering why they were late, or a friend who gave you a half-hearted excuse for canceling plans. How did it make you feel? Probably a mix of confusion and frustration, like you were being left out of the loop on purpose. Here's the thing. Evasion isn't just about avoiding the truth. It's about control. When someone dodges accountability, they're trying to keep you in the dark, to maintain power over the narrative. And they're betting that you won't push back, that you'll accept their non-answers and move on. But why do people evade in the first place? Is it fear of confrontation, a desire to protect their image, or is it simply a lack of respect for the person they're talking to? Whatever the reason, one thing is clear: accountability scares them, and their evasive tactics are a defense mechanism, a way to protect themselves from the consequences of their actions. So, what do you do when someone dodges your questions? How do you cut through the fog and get to the truth? Number 5. Honesty versus ambiguity. The clear difference. Picture this. You're sitting across from someone, a friend, a partner, a colleague. You ask them a question and they respond with confidence, looking you in the eye, giving you a straight answer. It's clear, direct, and leaves no room for doubt. Now, imagine the opposite. You ask the same question, and their response is vague, full of qualifiers and half-answers. "Well, it's kind of complicated," they say, or "I'm not sure, but..." The difference between these two scenarios is like night and day. Honesty is clear. Ambiguity is murky. And in that murkiness, trust erodes. Think about the people in your life who are always honest with you. Even when the truth is uncomfortable, they don't shy away from it. They say what they mean and mean what they say. Compare that to the people who are always ambiguous, always leaving you to read between the lines. How does each one make you feel? There's something deeply reassuring about clarity. It tells you that the person speaking has nothing to hide, that they respect you enough to be upfront. Ambiguity, on the other hand, feels like a game. It's exhausting, isn't it? Always trying to figure out what someone really means, always questioning whether you're getting the full story. Here's where the curiosity comes in. Why do some people choose ambiguity over honesty? Is it because they're hiding something? Because they're afraid of being vulnerable? Or is it simply because they've gotten away with it before? Whatever the reason, one thing is certain: ambiguity is a red flag. And if someone consistently chooses it over honesty, it's worth asking yourself why. Number 6. Recognizing the red flags of vague responses. Now let's talk about those subtle moments that make you pause, the red flags that appear when someone gives you a vague answer. It might be a friend who avoids naming specifics about their weekend plans, or a partner who sidesteps your questions about their day. At first, it might seem harmless, but over time, those vague responses start to add up, creating a pattern that's hard to ignore. Think back to a time when someone's vagueness made you suspicious. Maybe you asked a simple question like, "Who were you with?" and got a reply that felt off. "Oh, just some friends," they said, but there was something in their tone, their body language, that didn't sit right with you. That moment, that gut feeling, is your intuition picking up on a red flag. Here's the relatable part. We've all been there. We've all experienced that moment of doubt when someone's words didn't match their energy. And most of us, out of politeness or fear of conflict, let it slide. But here's the thing. Vagueness is rarely innocent. It's often a sign that someone is hiding something or doesn't want to be held accountable. So how do you recognize these red flags? It's all about paying attention to the details, or lack thereof. Do they avoid giving you specifics? Do they change the subject when pressed? Do they rely on phrases like, "It's complicated," or "Don't worry about it"? These are all signs that they're dodging the truth. But why does this matter? Because trust is built on clarity. And when someone consistently refuses to be clear with you, they're chipping away at that foundation. So the next time you feel that red flag moment, don't ignore it. Dig deeper. Ask the questions that need to be asked, and pay attention to how they respond. Number 7. Demanding clarity. Why you deserve honest answers. Have you ever been in a conversation where someone gave you an answer that was just off? Maybe they avoided answering the question directly, or they gave you a vague, half-hearted response. It's frustrating, isn't it? You can't help but feel like you're not getting the full story. There's something unsettling about it, almost like they're treating you like you don't deserve the truth. And deep down, you know you do deserve clarity. We've all had those moments where we wanted answers, but didn't get them. Maybe it was a partner who brushed off your concerns with a quick excuse. Maybe it was a coworker who dodged giving you important details for a project you were both working on. It might feel like you're being overly persistent, but here's the thing. You're not asking for too much. You're simply asking for the respect you deserve. Clear, direct, honest answers. There's a deep sense of curiosity that arises in these situations. You begin to wonder, why can't they just be honest with me? What are they hiding? And that curiosity is important because it taps into something fundamental: our desire for transparency, for the truth. As human beings, we thrive on understanding. When someone refuses to provide the answers you need, it's more than just a question left unanswered. It's a gap in trust. And that gap can grow wider the longer you let it slide. Think about a time when you were left in the dark and how it made you feel. Were you frustrated, confused, perhaps even betrayed? It's a feeling that can eat away at your confidence in that person. You begin to wonder, are they hiding something? Are they taking me seriously? These doubts don't just fade away. They linger because clarity is something that everyone deserves, whether it's in personal relationships, work, or any area of life. In the back of your mind, you might wonder, am I asking for too much? And that's a question many people have when they feel like they're pushing too hard for answers. But no, you're not asking too much. You're asking for basic honesty, for the kind of respect that comes with being straightforward. There's a powerful sense of validation that comes from someone providing clarity. It makes you feel seen, heard, and valued. When people refuse to give you a straight answer, they're essentially saying, I don't think you deserve the truth. And that's where the problem lies. Think about it. If someone truly cares about you, they won't hesitate to give you clear, honest answers. They won't dodge the truth. If they do, there's a deeper issue at play. Maybe they're trying to protect themselves, avoid conflict, or keep up an image. But whatever the reason, their lack of transparency is a signal that they're not as invested in your trust as they should be. Here's where it gets real. If you let these moments slide, if you allow yourself to be left in the dark over and over again, you're telling yourself that you're okay with not knowing the truth. You're allowing someone to take advantage of your politeness, your willingness to accept vague answers. But the truth is, you deserve more than that. Demanding clarity isn't about being rude or confrontational. It's about valuing yourself enough to seek the truth. It's about holding others to a standard of honesty that creates a foundation of trust and respect. Whether it's asking a partner where they were last night or pressing a coworker for specific details on a project, you deserve to know what's going on. You're not being unreasonable. You're being responsible for your own peace of mind. When you start demanding clarity, something incredible happens. You set a boundary. You show people that you won't settle for half-truths and evasive answers. And that, in turn, sets the stage for more honest, transparent conversations in the future. It might feel uncomfortable at first, like you're pushing boundaries or testing limits, but remember this: you are entitled to the truth. Think about how it feels when you've had a conversation with someone who was 100% transparent with you. There's a sense of relief, right? No guessing, no second guessing, just a clear, open exchange. That's the kind of communication you should expect, and that's the kind of communication you have the right to demand. Here's the curiosity behind all of this. What would happen if we all held each other accountable to be more honest, to give clear answers without evasion? What would change in our relationships, our workplaces, our communities? The power of clarity isn't just in the answers themselves. It's in the trust it builds, the respect it fosters, and the openness it encourages. When people refuse to give you clarity, they're holding back a piece of themselves. They're keeping something from you, and that can make you feel like you're standing outside looking in. But you don't have to settle for that. You don't have to stay on the outside of the conversation, wondering what's really going on. You deserve answers. You deserve honesty. You deserve clarity. And the next time someone avoids that, don't be afraid to ask again. You have the right to know, and the people who respect you will make sure you do. If you've made it this far, drop a 100 in the comments below. It shows that you're part of the rare few who are serious about facing the truth, asking the hard questions, and demanding the clarity you deserve. It's easy to let things slide or to settle for vague answers, but those who take the time to dig deeper are the ones who build the strongest foundations of trust. If you're really committed to making a change and taking control of your life, subscribing to this channel is the next step in that journey. This isn't just about watching another video, it's about transforming the way you communicate and building deeper, more authentic connections. So, make sure you subscribe and stay tuned for more insights that can help you level up in every area of your life. Keep pushing for the truth. Keep asking the tough questions. You've got this.